Hey, let's take it higher. God told me to tell you, child, don't worry, keep it moving. If they walk out and you lose them, you just know that heaven still has.
I've always been a dreamer. If there's one thing that I loved, it's just being involved with people and the arts and entertainment. To explain that a bit, my father was a blues singer. And so watching him as I was growing up at different blues festivals and sometime a lounge, I loved the way people reacted to him. I loved the way people responded and got lost in the music and his words and his voice. But I also loved that he loved what he did. And I also watched my mother. My mother was a preschool teacher. She was also a Sunday school teacher. She was also in the choir. She was all of these things. And I love that people loved her. Till this day, I still have people who she taught in preschool just love her so much. Always tell your mother I said hi. So I knew that whatever I did, I wanted to love it and I wanted it to have impact. I wanted to make people happy. And so one of my first jobs, because I've always leaned toward creative arts, was at a dance studio. Latin street dance, to be exact, under the direction of Lisa La Boricua. And there, I started in the office, but eventually I made it to the senior dance company, and I loved performing. I loved teaching. I loved helping people. I loved helping people find their confidence. I help people just feel better about themselves and about life and get lost in music. The unfortunate thing about the arts sometimes is that you don't really make money. Not at first. And when you are out of high school and your parents are looking at you like, well, if you're not going to go to college, you kind of need to get you a real job. It puts a pressure on you that you just don't. Should I stick with the art? Should I stick with what I love, even though I'm not making money? Or do I suck it up and go to, the real job? So I sucked it up and I went to a real job. I worked in the finance industry. Why did I choose that from the arts? I have no idea. But I was there, and I was there for 10 years. 10 years. And in my mind, it was going to be just a stepping stone. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to still do my other stuff on the side. I won't be here maybe no more than 2 years, probably, tops. And in the interim, I'm still I'm modeling. I wrote my first book. I would do pageants. I would do a lot of things that still kind of fed my creative side, but yet I'm still being stifled 8 hours of my day that it's hard to balance the two. And when the arts aren't taken off the way you kind of thought it would, sometimes it presents a frustration on you that'll make you almost want to give up on your own dream, which I did for a second, which kind of led me into this complacent and miserable state for about 10 years until the company that I worked for decided my particular branch, they were going to close, which means I'm going to get laid off. And now, even though it was bittersweet because I don't want to be here, I'm miserable, I hate it, but at the same time, it's like, now how am I going to make money? What am I going to do? What I thought was, all right, you know what? I'll take my severance package. I'm going back to the arts. That's where I'm supposed to be. Nothing against corporate America or offices. You know when something's not for you. Office work was not for me. The arts called me, And I decided, you know what? I'm going to take my severance. I'm going to go back to acting school. I'm going to take classes. I'm going to audition. I'm going to do all these amazing things. And when it came time for that layoff to start, it went completely different because then my health went down. My hearing, for some reason, I couldn't hear out of either ear. They told me it was an ear infection. I was on like 6 or 7 medications for months. Now I'm scared my hearing is not going to even come back. I'm spending money on specialists, medications. Nothing is working. When your health is starting to decline, it takes over anything. It takes priority over anything. You realize how much you take for granted. And so money that I thought I'm going to start my new life, this life was depressing me. Because now I'm like, what is going on? Why can't I hear? Why? And no one could tell me. No doctor could tell me. No specialist could tell me. And if that wasn't enough, now I'm feeling a lump in my stomach. My father died from cancer. And I'm just like, Lord, why? And now I have to go and see what this lump is. But as this is going on, I have no money coming in because my severance is going toward medications and specialists that I can't even afford. And now bills are falling behind. I hadn't paid rent. I'm barely paying my phone. I don't even, honestly, I didn't even have food to eat. If it wasn't for some of my friends bringing me food, I would have starved. And there were days that I just couldn't bear to ask anybody for anything. And so I did. I would go days without food. When I tell you that there is something about being down to your rock bottom when you have nothing else left, you have no one else to ask, you have no one else to call, what do you do? What do you do? My friend Kishana, who you'll meet later on in the season, she started taking me to church. She's like, you have to come to church with me. You have to put the word on what you're going through. And at the time, I'm born and raised in the church, in the choir. It never really processed. Should I go back to church? Because at this time, I'm just like, I can't even hear. I don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to talk to anybody. The only reason I'm even responding to people is so they know I'm alive. Because that's just how depressed I was. And now I'm getting a 5-day eviction notice because I can't pay rent, so I can't stay here. So now I have to leave and pack up everything in 5 days by myself because I don't have anyone to help me or to help me move. And then I'm like, where am I going to go? My parents don't live here. My mother lives in Arizona. I couldn't just pack up and move to Arizona. Where am I going to go? One of my aunts agreed to let me stay with her. So now I have all of my stuff crammed into a basement. I'm sick. I have no money. Life was miserable. And when you are going through your hardest times, that's when your true character is going to come through. Because everything in me just wanted to hate everyone and everything. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to reply to my phone. I didn't want to answer the phone. But I'd still pick up and put on a nice face because I just couldn't bear to be mean to people because I'm hurting, because I'm broken, because I'm miserable. And when you're holding so much in, now it's really starting to affect your body. Because now, not only was my hearing playing games, I found out the lumps were tumors, 3 fibroid tumors, but thank God it wasn't cancer. But you realize that when you are hurting, that hurt people, it's a real thing. And it takes everything in you not to unleash on the most innocent because you are feeling so miserable. My skin was breaking out. My hair was breaking off. I'm gaining weight. I looked nothing like myself and I felt nothing like myself. And so it wasn't until Kishana started taking me to church, and then it was the only place I found peace. That was the only place I found peace, and I could just sit there. And some days I just wanted to sit there, even if there wasn't a service going on. I just wanted to be there because to me, it felt like that was the only place that I could get some hope, that I could get some understanding, that I could get some answers. And being under the instruction of Pastor Winston, what he started to let us know that is sometimes adversity comes to teach you, to get you to advancement. See, there are some things that you need to know before God puts you in a place that he has for your purpose. And his plan is ultimately going to be different from your plan, but his plan is what's best. Because what started to happen is as I pressed into his promises, even when the outside world still looked the same to me, as I pressed and declared what his word said to me, things started to improve. Not drastically, but little by little. As I pressed into the promises, now my hearing's coming back. But no doctor could tell me why. No doctor could even tell me what's wrong. But as I pressed into the promises, opportunities started to come to me. Now I'm getting paid speaking gigs, but when I was pushing and pressing in my own ability, they wouldn't come. But when I started to give the Father his glory and his credit, they were coming. You see, I had to learn that I couldn't despise the storms that I was in because it was starting to position me in a place where he could use me. He knew that I was good with people, but I needed to be teaching a message that he needed me to share, which is to always, always hope in him. Because what's best for you, he's already preordained and destined for you. Our lives may not go as we plan, but when you trust in his plan, it can go far better than what you've ever imagined. And as it continues, then I'm getting paid jobs to do editorial writing. I'm getting paid jobs to do radio. I'm connecting with people in film and entertainment that I never could have on my own. But when I started to lose focus of, it's not all about me, let me press into what this word says about me, walking by faith, even when my natural eyes aren't seeing what my faith in the word promises me, it slowly started to come to fruition. And so that's what I want people to always see, that no matter what your natural eyes are trying to reason to you, receive the blessings that are in the Bible given for you. Because I guarantee you, the minute you start to put God first and put his plan for you first, you will start to prosper perfectly the way he has planned for you, and better than you could have imagined. And that's my story. And that's why I want you guys to tune into this season, because just like you hear my story today, trust me, there's so much that you're going to hear this season that's going to set your soul on fire, that you haven't made too much of a mistake that you can't overcome. You haven't messed up so much that you can't still succeed. Trust me. Give God the glory, give him the praise, press into those promises, and he's going to fill every void. He's going to heal every hurt, and he's going to restore to you everything that was lost better than you can imagine. I guarantee it. Thanks for tuning in.